All right, pulling back a little bit. S&P finally dipping back underneath the previous candle's low. This is the first area where scalpers will be looking for a continuation pulse back to the upside. We haven't completed the objective yet, which is good. That allows the bulls a bit more room. Grabbing the first one off for the scalp, seeing if they can follow through with a little bit more on this last portion here to keep it going. There we go. Keep on going. More bullish conviction back to the upside. Got 3 minutes left on the candle. Pulling back down towards the break-even point. The last candle from to the open of the current bar was a gap down. So I would really like to see this ramp back up and start breaching above the 61s. Gain some proof here. Well, more proof. This move up has been proof enough, but. They have 2 minutes left on the candle. Upside objective would be a finalized reach out into settlement, up into like the 65s. NASDAQ starting to pulse back up as well. They had a quick little inside pullback to settlement and bounced off. S&P, quick little pull underneath the candle again, little break-even test. We got 30 seconds left on the candle. They're testing 61s. 20 seconds left. Come on, ES. NASDAQ is pushing into the highs. Really, really weak bear bar. Bulls on the NASDAQ continuing to pulse higher. It's starting to dip back down to the break-even point. They might want to try to get a flush down to like the 54-ish area. Otherwise, the bulls are still assumed, at least, to be picking up this dip. The NASDAQ is also finally pulling back a little bit. Nice dip zone on the S&P back to fill in that previous candle gap. All right, I'll grab that one off the table for another scalp and see if they can keep going for a little bit more, I guess. Still didn't quite make it down to the 54s, but got about 2.5 minutes left on the candle. Now, the NASDAQ is seeing a very similar dip, but again, the NASDAQ has already achieved some larger objectives, so it could pull back a bit further. I would rather see the NASDAQ down in like the 127 quarters. The S&P is more, it's a lot more likely to hold up into the highs. $60.75 is the objective-ish in that area. Maybe even like 60 quarter, but up there. $10:30 right around the corner. So feel free to get those questions in. We'll get those covered for you, and then we'll rock and roll into the end of the morning. Of course, settlement up at the 65s is also still waiting. Another weak bear bar, not really proving much of anything. Trying to pick up another one on the bid. Starting to push down into those 54s. This is the next area of interest. All right. There. Got everything set out. Should be good to go now for the S&P. Just gonna let it do its thing now. All right, ES. Time to shine. Looking for a pop up to the 60, 75s, 61s, possibly through the top, somewhere up there. Seems like the market's playing a game of punch each other in the face. Just kind of hanging out right now, not really doing much of anything. The S&P is just kind of chopping back and forth. Seems like the bulls are fighting over this 57 area into the 56s. They're not letting it get down to the 54s. That's really the area that I would like to see it get into as far as like building, but they just keep getting scalps in here. So be it. Come on, ES. Playing a game of I think I can. What makes the US Bitcoin ETF such a big deal? Well, it's a way to introduce Bitcoin into the stock side of things with more of the regulation, right? That's what people are always kind of looking for, like regulate this, regulate that. Well, if it's an ETF, it's going to draw a lot of trust, right? People know what an ETF is. People have heard of an ETF. They've heard of the SPY, you know? So when you see Bitcoin ETF, it's like, oh yeah, of course. It brings an air of legitimacy to it as well from a psychological perspective. Not that it wasn't legitimate, but you know what I mean. It's just, it brings a lot to the table. Not to mention like stock and ETF traders have another way to invest in crypto, and yeah. All right. I'm going to take it off there. Nice little continuation to the upside, pulsing back to the highs to finish it off. Nice move.